Hello student, welcome to online physics lecture chapter 9 current electricity part 2nd. In the last session we will discuss about the Kirchhoff's law. We know that there are the two Kirchhoff's law. Kirchhoff's first law, that is also called as the current law, and the second Kirchhoff's voltage law. Okay, means we know that if the circuit is to be complicated circuit, at that time we can use the Kirchhoff's current law and Kirchhoff's voltage law. In this session, we will start from the first point, Wheaton's bridge. Okay. So, when we see about the Wheaton's bridge, the Wheaton's bridge was originally developed by a Charles Wheaton, and this Wheaton bridge is used to measure the values of unknown resistances. It is also used for calibrating, measuring instruments, voltmeters and ammeters. Let us see the diagram for the Wheaton's network. Okay, so let us see the circuit connection. So in this diagram, there are the four resistances P, Q, R and S. And these four resistances P, Q, R and S, they are connected to form a quadrilateral ABCD. This is a quadrilateral ABCD. Okay, and this quadrilateral, the four resistances P, Q, R and S are connected. A battery of EMF E. This is a battery of EMF E is connected between points A and C such that the point A is at higher potential with respect to point C, and a galvanometer, this is a galvanometer of internal resistance G. This galvanometer having an internal resistance G, and it is connected between the 2 points B and D. Okay. Next, when the key is closed, so this is the key. If the key is closed, then the current I flows through the circuit. This is the current I, and this current I is flows through the circuit, and this current, it divides into I1 and I2 at point A. Means when this current I reaches at point A, so at point A this current I is divided in the form of two currents, I1 current and this is I2 current. Okay, so it divides current I into I1 and I2 at point A. I1 is the current passes through the P, and I2 is current passes through the S. Okay, so this I1 current passes through the P and I2 current passes through the S. The current I1 gets divided at point B. Okay, so at point B, the current I1 again divided. Let Ig be the current flowing through the galvanometer. Okay, so this is a galvanometer. There is a current also flowing through the galvanometer. Suppose you see that Ig, that is the current flowing through the galvanometer. So the current flowing through Q and R. Okay, so this is Q and this is R. Okay, so which are the current flowing through Q and R? So the current flowing through Q, that is I1 minus Ig, and current flowing through the R, which is the current, that is I2 plus Ig. Okay, so this is the I1, this is I2. Okay, so at point B the current is again divided. So this is that Ig current, suppose flowing through the galvanometer. So which is the current flowing through the Q, so that is I1 minus I2. And while we consider about the current flowing from D to C through a resistance R, so what is the current flowing through it? So that is I2 plus Ig. Okay, so according to the Kirchhoff's law, the current I is equal to I1 plus I2. Okay, means at point A it can be divided in the form of I1 and I2. So we say that according to Kirchhoff's current law, So the total current I is equal to I1 plus I. So let us consider the loops. Okay, so let us consider the first loop, that is A B D A. Okay, so that is the loop A B D and A. Okay, so for this loop we can apply the Kirchhoff's voltage law. Okay, so we can apply the Kirchhoff's voltage law in the clockwise sense. Okay, so the can take this is in clockwise sense like that. Okay, so in that case, while we can write the equation according to Kirchhoff's voltage law. So when we moving from A to B, okay, so there is the resistance is P, and which is the current flowing through it, it is I1. Okay, so I1 current flowing from point A to B, so according to sign convention can be taken as minus. Okay, so when we are moving from A to B, so what is the total potential? So that is minus I1 into P. Okay, so that is I1P. Okay, then after that we are moving from B to D. Okay, so in B to D, which is the current flowing through it, that is Ig. What is its resistance? G. Okay, so according to again sign convention, so its sign is minus, so we can write minus I1 G. Okay, then we are moving from D to A. Okay, so in that case, what is the resistance? That is S, and the current flowing through it, that is I2. Okay, so according to sign convention, when we are moving from D to A, so current is opposite to be flow, so it can be taken as plus. Okay, so we'll get the equation is I to S is equal to 0. Okay, so according to sign convention, what we'll get the equation for the loop A B D A? So the equation is minus I1P minus I1G plus I2S is equal to 0. Okay, then let us consider the next loop. The next loop is B C D B. Okay, so for this we can again apply the Kirchhoff's voltage law, and that is again in the clockwise sense. Okay, so in that case, when we start from point B, move to the point C, so what is the resistance? That is Q. Okay, and what is the current? That is I1 minus Ig. Okay, so according to sign convention, that is again minus, so we'll get the equation is minus I1 minus Ig. Then we are moving from C to D. What is the current flowing through it? That is I2 plus Ig. What is the resistance? R. Okay, but its direction is opposite to that of the tracing, so its sign is plus. So we'll get the equation is plus I2 plus Ig into R. Okay, then after that we are moving from D to B. What is the current? That is Ig, and what is the resistance? G. Okay, so its current is opposite direction to that of the tracing, so its sign is plus. Okay, so we'll get the equation is plus Ig into G is equal to 0. Okay, so clear that both equations, that is for the loop ABDA according to sign convention, that is the equation for loop BCDB according to sign convention. Okay, then a special case occurs when the current flowing through the galvanometer is 0. Okay, so in that case, while there is a current flowing through galvanometer is 0, then at that time we say that this Kirchhoff's bridge is said to be balanced. Okay, so for the balancing condition, the current flowing through the galvanometer is considered as 0. Okay, so this condition can be obtained by adjusting the values of P, Q, R and S. Okay, means we can adjust it the values for resistance P, Q, R, S such a way that the galvanometer can show the 0 depression, null depression. If there is no current flowing through the galvanometer, so we can say that Ig is equal to 0. Okay, so substituting Ig equal to 0 in that equations, both equations. Okay, so we'll consider about the first equation. What is the first equation? Minus I1P, that is 0 plus I2S equal to 0. Okay, so we'll get the equation minus I1P plus I2S equal to 0. Okay, so minus take on this side, so we'll get the equation is I1P equal to I2S. Now let us consider the second equation. So in this second equation, that is Ig equal to 0, so what is the remaining? Minus I1Q. Okay, so that is minus I1Q, then plus I to R, because this Ig is again 0, so you get plus I to R, and that is Ig is 0, so that is 0 is equal to 0. Okay, so what is the remaining? Minus I1Q plus I to R is equal to 0. Okay, so we'll get, this is the equation, minus I1Q plus I to R is equal to 0. Okay, so minus on this side, so you get the equation is I1Q is equal to I to R. Okay, we can divide that equations. Both equations are to be divided, means I1P on left side, that is divided by I1Q is equal to I2S divided by I2R. So I1 I2 get cancelled, so we get the balancing condition is P by Q is equal to S by R. Okay, and this is the balancing condition for the Weisstrom's bridge. Okay, means we can compare the 4 resistances, and if we know the 3 resistances, so we can determine the unknown resistance by a Weisstrom's bridge. Okay, so that is the explanation for the Weisstrom's bridge. Okay. Then let us see the next point, that is the applications of Weisstrom's bridge. Okay, so let us see the application of Weisstrom's bridge, that is the first meter bridge. Okay, so this is a circuit connection diagram for the meter bridge. Okay, so while we see about the diagram, so meter bridge consists of a wire of uniform cross section and 1 meter in length stretched on a meter scale which is fixed on a wooden table. Okay, so this meter bridge which can be consist of a long and uniform wire. This is suppose wire AB that is near about 1 meter in length, and it can be fixed on a wooden board which is stretched on a meter scale and fixed on a wooden table. Okay, the ends of the wire are fixed below two L-shaped metallic strip. Okay, so these are the two L-shaped metallic strip. This is the one and this is second. Okay, so between the two L-shaped strips we can fix the wire AB. Okay. Then a single metallic strip separates the two L-shaped string, leaving two gaps, left gap and right gap. Okay, so we can take, this is a single metal strip. Okay, and can we fix such that it can create the two gaps for the L-shaped strips, that is the left gap and suppose this is right gap. Then one terminal of a galvanometer is connected to the terminal C on the central strip, while the other terminal of galvanometer carries the jockey. Okay, so this is a galvanometer. Okay, so one end of galvanometer is connected to the point C and other end of galvanometer is connected to the jockey, or that is also called as the sliding key, which is slide over along the wire AB. Okay, so that is also called as the sliding key. Okay, the temporary contact with the wire AB can be established with the help of jockey. Okay, means we can tap the jockey on this wire AB and can make a temporary contact with the wire AB. A cell of EMF E along with a key and a rheostat are connected between the points A and B. Okay, so this is the EMF E, key K and rheostat RH. Okay, so these are the connected across the point A and B, or they are connected between the points A and B. Okay, so that is the explanation for the circuit connection. Okay, then let us see the procedure. Okay, so will we see about the procedure? In this procedure, a suitable resistance R is selected from a resistance box. Okay, so we can make the connections as shown in figure. Then after that, we can take out some suitable resistance from this resistance box. Okay, means in that case there are the X, that is unknown resistance, which to be determined is connected between the left gap, and the resistance box is connected across the right gap, that is the known resistance. Okay, so at first we can take a suitable resistance is selected from a resistance box, so we can take note some suitable resistance from resistance box. The jockey is brought in contact with AB at various points on the wire AB. and the balance point, null point D is obtained. Okay, means we can tap the jockey or sliding key along the wire AB, and we can select the point D such a way that the galvanometer can be shows a null depression or a zero depression. Okay, so the galvanometer shows a no depression. Okay, means it can show the no depression, means it can show the zero depression. Okay, when the jockey is at balance point. Okay, so suppose this is a point D, and at point the galvanometer shows a null depression or zero depression, so the point D is considered as a balance point. Okay, then after that let us see the expansion for the calculation. Okay, so let the respective lengths of wire between A and D. Okay, so you can consider about the lengths of the wire between A and D. Okay, so that is A and D, and the second is B and D. Okay, and that between D and C, that is between D and B. So actually that is a print mistake by the book. Actually that is the C point can be taken. Okay, so in that case, while we consider about suppose LX, that is the length between A and D. Okay, and that is LR, that is the length between the 2 points D and C actually. Okay, so actually in that case that is the B, because this point can be shown as C, this point shown as D, that is AB. Okay, so actually AD, that is the length LX, and DB, that is the LR. Okay, means that is the LX means across the unknown resistance X, and that is across the resistance R, so that length is LR. Okay, so then using the condition for the balance. Okay, so according to balance condition, okay, so there are the 4 resistances, that is suppose first resistance, that is second resistance, that is third, and that is fourth. We can assume like that. Okay, so there are the 4 resistances are get to balance. Okay, so we get the balancing condition like that, X upon R, so that is X upon R is equal to resistance across AD. Okay, and the secondary resistance across DB. Okay, so in that case that is actually the point B to be taken. Okay, so clear that. Okay, so these are the 4 resistance 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, so that is the first X, R, second, so X upon R. What is the third resistance? That is the resistance across the length LX, means that is AD, and the second is length across LR, that is DB. Okay, so we get RAD upon RDB, where RAD and RDB are the resistance of the parts AD and DB of the wire, resistance of the wire. Okay, then if L is the length of the wire, rho is the specific resistance, and A is its area of cross section. Okay, so then we know that what is the formula for resistance R? So R is equal to rho L upon A. Okay, so that is the part for the specific resistance. We have already discussed it in 11th science. Okay, so we know that rho, that is the specific resistance, and what is formula? Actually rho is equal to Ra upon L. Okay, so R is equal to rho L upon A. Okay, so when we can take R across AD, so that is the length across AD, so we'll get RAD is equal to rho L AD upon A. What is RDB? So that is rho L DB upon A. Yes, so let us substitute both that value in that original equation. So X upon R is equal to RAD upon R DB, actually that is DB. So rho LX upon A, because AD is equal to LX, okay, and DB is equal to LR. So we can substitute LAD is equal to LX and LDB is equal to LR. Okay, so we'll get rho LX upon A and rho LR upon A. Okay, so rho and A get cancelled, so we get the remaining equation is X by R is equal to LX upon LR. So what is the X? So X equal to LX upon LR into R. Okay, so we know R, that is the resistance which is taken out from resistance box. We can measure the length LX, we can measure the length LR. So we know the value for R, LX and LR. So by substituting that three values, we can determine the unknown resistance X. Okay, so that is the expansion for the meter bridge, means we can determine the unknown resistance X. Yes, so let us see the applications for the meter bridge or Wheatstone's bridge. Okay, so what are the applications? The Wheatstone's bridge is used for measuring the values of very low resistance precisely. Okay, what is the Wheatstone bridge is used? It can be used for measuring the very low resistances. Okay, what is the second application? We can also measure the quantities such as galvanometer resistance, capacitance, inductance and impedance using a Wheatstone's bridge. Okay, so these are the two applications for the Wheatstone's bridge. Then let us see about the sources of errors. Okay, means while you can perform the experiment. Okay, so there are the some errors are to be produces. Okay, so let us see about the source of errors. Okay, so what is the first error? The cross section of the wire may not uniform. Okay, so we can use the wire AB in that diagram. Okay, so the wire which is always to be uniform. Okay, so here is the error can be present if the cross section of wire is may not uniform. What is the second error? The ends of the wire are soldered to the metallic strip where contact resistance is developed, which is not taken into account. Okay, means while there is the wire AB which can be connected between the two L-shaped metallic strips. Okay, so while we consider about, there are the ends of the wires are to be soldered to that metallic strip, and there is the contact resistance which is to be developed. Okay, so that is the second part of the error. And the third, the measurement of LX and LR may not be accurate. Okay, so we can measure that LX and LR values. Okay, but these values are not to be accurate. Okay, so these are the some errors are to be produced in that experiment. Okay, so let us see how we can minimize that errors. Okay, so this type of error to be produced and these errors are to be minimized. Okay, so let us see how we can minimize that errors. The first is that the value of R means we can take out the resistance from resistance box. Okay, so in that case we see that the value of R is so adjusted that the null point is obtained to the middle 1/3 of wire, means that is between 34 centimeter and 66 centimeter. Okay, so that the percentage error in the measurement of LX and LR are minimum and nearly the same. Okay, so we can adjust the value for R near about, we found that the null point is obtained near about the middle of that wire. Okay, so that is the one part we can minimize error. Let us see the second. The experiment is repeated by interchanging the positions of unknown resistance X and known resistance box R. Okay, so we know that while we see about the diagram, this diagram, the unknown resistance X is connected to left and resistance R is connected to right. Okay, so after that we can interchange that position, means the resistance box is connected to left and unknown resistance X is connected to right. Okay, so by interchanging that position we can minimize the error. Okay, what is the third error? So in the third error we say that the jockey should be tap on the wire and not slide it. Okay, means the jockey which is not sliding over the wire, we can just tap it. Okay, so these are the some errors which can be minimized. Okay, so that is the expansion for the meter bridge. Okay, then let us see the next point. The next point is that the Kelvin's method. Okay, so the Kelvin's method, it is used to determine the resistance of galvanometer by using a meter bridge. Okay, so let us see the diagram. This diagram is similar to that of the meter bridge. Okay, so only we can make the some difference in that diagram. Okay, so let us see, this is the diagram for the Kelvin's method. Okay, and by using this Kelvin method we can determine the galvanometer whose resistance to be determined. Okay, so in that case this is a galvanometer, we can determine the resistance of that galvanometer. Okay, so in the Killen's method, the galvanometer whose resistance G is to be determined is connected in one gap. It can be connected suppose in the left gap, and the known resistance R in the other gap. Okay, so while we see about the diagram, that is similar to that of the meter bridge. So what is the change in meter bridge? So in meter bridge, we can connect the galvanometer between points B and D. Okay, and at this we can take the unknown resistance X and the resistance R, that is the same. Okay, so in that case we can make change only like that. We can take note from galvanometer from this position, and we can connect in the form of unknown resistance, because we can determine the resistance of galvanometer. Okay, so that is the in one gap we can connect the galvanometer whose resistance to be determined, that is the resistance box R is connected in the other. Let us see about the working. Okay, so the working is again similar. Okay, so we can make all the connections similar to that of the meter bridge. And while we see about in the part of working, a suitable resistance is taken in the resistance box. Okay, so in that case we can again take out some suitable resistance from the resistance box. Then by closing the key, then we see that the current I is sent around the circuit by closing the key. So when you can close the key, so there is a current can flowing through all the circuit. Okay, then without touching the jockey at any point of the wire, the deflection in the galvanometer is observed. Okay, so in that case, when this is a sliding your jockey, without touching that jockey on the wire AC, suppose in that case. Okay, so in that case we say that the galvanometer can always show the deflection. Okay, the rheostat is adjusted to get a suitable deflection around 2/3 of the range. Okay, so by using that adjustment of the rheostat, we can adjust the deflection for the 2/3 of its range. Then now the jockey is tapped at different points of the wire, and a point of contact D for which the galvanometer shows no change in deflection is found. Okay, so in that case the jockey is touches to the wire AC along the wire AC, or we can tap along the wire AC, and we can select the point D at which the galvanometer does not show change in deflection. Okay, means it can show the same deflection. Is that okay? In the meter bridge, we can select the point D such that the galvanometer which can be connected between these 2 points, it can show the null deflection actually. Okay, but in that case we can tap the tap key along this wire AC such that the galvanometer shows the same deflection. Okay, so in that we say that the Killen's method, that is the same deflection method. Okay, and while we see about the meter bridge, that is the null deflection method. Okay, so that is the difference between the two methods. Clear that? Okay, then in that case we can take the point of contact D for which the galvanometer shows a no deflection, or it can show the same deflection. Okay, then as the galvanometer shows the same deflection with or without contact between point B and D. Okay, means we can select the point D such that the galvanometer shows the same deflection, means the jockey touches to the wire, or without touches to the wire, the galvanometer shows the same deflection. Okay, so these 2 points must be equipotential point. Okay, so at that condition we say that these 2 points are considered as the equipotential point. Okay, the length of the bridge wire between the points D and the left end wire is measured. Okay, the LG be the length of the segment of wire opposite to the galvanometer, and LR be the length of the segment opposite to the resistance box. Okay, so in that case, according to against the galvanometer, that is the we can measure the length between AD, that is LG, and we can measure the length LR across the resistance box, that is in the form of DC, that is LR. Okay, so we can measure LG and LR. Okay, after that we can make the calculations. Okay, so in that case let RAD, that is the resistance across AD, and RDC, that is the resistance across DC. Okay, so these are the resistance for the two parts of wire AD and DC respectively. Okay, so when we can select the point D, okay, so the circuit get to be balanced. Okay, so according to balance condition, so we'll get again the four resistance, that is the first resistance G, that is second R, third resistance across LG, and fourth resistance across LR. Okay, so we can take their ratio according to Wheatstone's meter or Wheatstone's bridge. Okay, so we get the equation is G by R is equal to resistance across RAD divided by resistance across DC. Okay, so in that case we can write RAD upon RDC is equal to LG upon LR. Okay, so according to the same equation, R equal to rho L upon A. Okay, so rho and A get cancelled, so we get the ratio RAD upon RDC equal to LG upon LR. So we can substitute that value in that equation, so we get G by R is equal to LG upon LR. Okay, so therefore G by R is equal to LG upon 100 minus LG. Okay, so what is the total length? That is in the form of 100 centimeter, because that is 1 meter length. Okay, so LG plus LR equal to 100. So in another way we say that what is the LR? So that is 100 minus LG. So we can write LG upon 100 minus LG. So G is equal to LG upon 100 minus LG into R. Okay, so we know the value for LG, we know the value for R. So by substituting that value, we can determine the resistance of galvanometer. Okay, so using this formula, the unknown resistance of galvanometer can be calculated. Okay, so that is the expansion for the Kelvin's method. Okay, then let us see about the next explanation. That is the next point, that is the expansion for the post office box. Okay, so this is the simple diagram for the post office box. Okay, so while we see about the post office box, so post office box is a practical form of Wheatstone's bridge. Okay, so we already discussed about the Wheatstone's bridge, so we know that there are the four resistances which are get to be balanced. Okay, so this is also the Wheatstone's bridge, but that is a practical form of Wheatstone's bridge. Okay, so will we say about its construction? So it consists of the three arms P, Q and R. Okay, so this is the P, that is the Q, and that is the R. Okay, so it consists of the three arms P, Q and R. The resistances in these three arms are adjustable. Okay, so we can adjustable that resistance between P, Q and R. The two ratio arms P and Q contain resistances 10 ohm, 100 ohm and 1000 ohm each. Okay, so while you consider about these are the two ratio arms, this is the P and this is the Q. Okay, so these arms can consist the resistances. It consists the resistance, which are the resistances 10 ohm, 100 ohm and 1000 ohm each. Okay, and the third arm R contains the resistances from 1 ohm to 5000 ohm. Okay, so this is the R. It can be start from A to D. Okay, so this is the R. Okay, so while we consider about this third R, and it can be contains the resistances from 1 ohm to 5000 ohm. Okay, the unknown resistance X forms the fourth resistance, so that is unknown resistance. It can be connected between point C and D. Okay, so that is unknown resistance X connected between C and D. Right? And there are the two tap keys K1 and K2. Okay, so these are the two tap keys connected K1 and K2. Okay, so that is connected between the D point and that is connected for the A point. Okay, so the resistances in the R, P and Q are fixed to desired ratio. Okay, so we can take the resistance from P and Q, we can take their desired ratio, means we can take any one ratio for that. Okay, the resistance R in the arm R is adjusted so that galvanometer shows no deflection. Okay, so when we can take their desired ratio for P and Q, then we can take note from resistance from this arm R such a way that the galvanometer which can be connected between the key and D point Okay, so this galvanometer can be show the null depletion or zero depletion. Okay, so when we can take out from resistance box from R such a way that the galvanometer shows the null depletion, so we say that this circuit which get to be balanced. Okay, so now the bridge that is to be balanced and the unknown resistance X which is to be determined. So what is formula? So X equal to RQ upon P. Okay, so we know P and Q are the fixed resistances in the ratio arm. We know the value for R which is adjustable known resistance. So while we can substitute P, Q and R, so by substituting that value we can find out the unknown resistance X. Okay, so that is the same part as of the Wheatstone bridge. Okay, suppose if L is the length of the wire and small r is its radius, then the formula for specific resistance of metal of the wire. What is the formula for specific resistance? Rho equal to x pi r square upon L. Okay, so we know the value for R, we know the value for L, that is the length of the wire. We always determine the value for unknown resistance X. So by substituting all of that value, we can measure the value for specific resistance. Okay, so that is the total explanation for the part of the meter bridge. Okay, so thank you for watching this lecture.